Hey, my phone says that Full.Lead.Taco's having a live chat.
Well, are you going to work on anything while you chat today, or are you just chatting?
At the moment, I'm going to work on a cold Mountain Dew. Looks like Jose Guzman is on. Ozark Spirit is on. Walter Bunning is on.
Yep.
And Jose Guzman sees everything, so watch out.
Yeah.
So what are you working on there?
So I'm smoking these molds that this one in particular is a rescue mold, I call it. So it's one of the returns. Someone returned it to NOE, and so I got it on the cheap.
What kind of bullet is it?
It's looks like a Keith bullet, 255, 454.
So something like the 45 Colt then.
Yeah, 45 Colt.
Phil R101, welcome, man. I have no idea how many people might.
I got a bunch of molds I gotta break in and do my process with, so I figured I'll do some of that because it's like boring stuff that I can do while I'm talking.
Yeah, you're always running another 2 or 3 new molds.
Oh man, for sure. I actually have like a stack of, counting this one, I have a stack of 7 that I'm working on breaking in. The new HTC 278-103. It's the Wolverine 277 Wolverine mold just got done. The group buy at NOE. So it
How many
cast.
do they need on a group buy before they'll actually cut the mold?
What was that?
How many folks do they need on a group buy before they'll cut the mold?
Usually it's 10, but if there's like 7 or 8 and it waits a while, he'll just decide if it's worth doing or not. Like if he thinks he'll be able to sell some more later. And so this one I think had 9, and then he committed to make it, and then I think it had another guy or 2 sign up, so they got like 11 people signed up. This is what it looks like. So have to do some testing with it, see if it.
How heavy that bullet's supposed to be?
It's supposed to be like a 103. I think with the plain base it's 105. Let me see. He gave me a couple of the sample bullets. So the plain base, I can weigh them right now. I think these were cast with wheel weights. So
James
yeah.
Pollard is on. Hey, James. Ozark Spirit says that he has a load suggestion for you. 50 cal round ball in the Alaskan super subsonic. Moose parts.
Moose parts, huh?
You got to powder coat them brown.
That sounds interesting.
Might be mistaken for what's that candy? Whoppers.
Whoppers.
Actually, Whopper would be a good name for it.
Yeah, I call it the Whopper. All right. So yeah, 77 Wolverine mold, brand new one that just barely got. I think it just barely got off the mill yesterday.
Oh, so that's brand new, brand new.
Yeah, like I just picked it up yesterday, so I can show it to everybody today. All right, so I have a question for everyone who's on so far. If you cast bullets, do you guys smoke your molds or do you not smoke them?
Curtis is here.
We got someone from Michigan, California, Arizona. Morty Smith says no. Commenter says I don't smoke them. James Pollard says yes. And who was that? Walter says no smoke with aluminum. Ozark smokes some. And Larry says no. And Uncle Jim says smoke them if you got them. And Phil says no. Huh.
Larry looks adamant about not smoking molds. Why is that, Larry?
Yeah, Larry, what do you
smoke molds? And Taco does, but I'm not religious about it. I'm just kind of curious pros, cons of it.
Did you see William's comment?
Yeah.
Johnny says he doesn't smoke them, but he has no idea what he's doing.
Right.
So for the guys who don't do it, I want to ask why you don't do it. And for the guys who do it, I want to ask why do you do it?
If you deburr, no need to smoke. I think most of my molds I have not smoked myself, but I did end up having to run a few pounds of lead through it before I was getting good bolts the first time.
Yeah, so for me, I don't smoke them for the mold release as much, but it seems like I get better fill out faster with them. When I do when I scrub them with Dawn and then I smoke them and then I heat cycle them about 4 or 5 times, bring them up to temperature about 375, 400 degrees on a hot plate, let it cool down, and then do it again. When I do that, I get good bullets on the first or second pour, or at least the first couple pours.
Now, I do heat cycle my molds when they're brand new. I'll heat cycle them 3 or 4 times at about 400 degrees.
I think the heat cycling helps too. But that's what I'm doing.
My computer tells it.
That's what I'm doing right now. Is I'm just a couple new molds I got from NOE yesterday.
Commenters admiring my T7 setup. I love my T7, but I haven't looked into it yet. But I saw Lyman is coming out with a couple of new presses, and one of them has, I think it's an 8-hole turret. I haven't looked into it yet, but that's from the initial glance in the picture, that looks like a really nice press.
Yeah, I think Johnny's cat, he showed that.
Yeah. I don't know. Everything here is green of some sort. I don't know if I can have orange on the bench.
I got rainbows. I'm brand agnostic.
Well, in this Redding, I've got, I think I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got at least 6 heads here. And I think there's only 2 Redding dies in there. The rest are all either RCBS or Lee dies.
So what else did everyone say about smoke.
I don't know if you answered. Johnny was asking if you only smoke them the one time.
I do, unless a mold is having a really hard time releasing bullets, and I'll give it a second smoke. But usually, just the one time is good enough for me.
I think that NOE mold I got the HTC, the 9mm that cast up these bullets. I heat cycled it and cleaned it, and I did not smoke that one. I don't think I had any trouble with it. I think I was good on the second or third cast.
Yeah, I think the heat cycling is what a lot of people forget.
Tim Robinson's quoting Reloading from the Hot Pot. Keep blowing the smoke.
Yeah, if I follow the process that I have in that one video I did a while back, I always get good bullets on the first or second pour, it seems like.
How many molds are you smoking today?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's another one, a group buy that just got done from NOE, and it is I'm pretty excited about it. You know that one video I did a while back about bunny farts with they're red bullets? They're 130 grain air rifle bullet. So we ended up modifying that, taking the boat tail out and increasing the diameter just slightly, and took out so no lube grooves, no boat tail, and he ran it at 310 and also 312, and this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see that good, but it's a nice little bullet. I think this is going to be my new subsonic plinker bullet for, and I'm going to try shoot this supersonic in the 300 Blackout AR-15. Just it's 135 grain round nose.
Uncle Jim's accusing you of being a heavy smoker.
Yeah, today I am.
Speaking of 300 Blackout, have you seen any of the SHOT Show reports?
I have not paid attention much to the SHOT Show stuff.
I haven't made a whole lot, but I was curious about that. Was it the Franklin Armory? What do they call it? The Reformation. The little short rifle. It's not a rifle, but then it's not a shotgun.
Oh yeah, because it has the double trigger, the one that shoots on pull.
It does have a binary trigger, but it's not a rifle because the rifling in it, the Lanza grooves don't twist, so it doesn't impart any twist on the bullet.
Oh, is that what it is? I thought it was the trigger that made different.
No, it comes with a binary trigger, but it apparently it's not a rifle because the rifling does not impart a twist.
The bullets come straight out.
Yeah, so what they're claiming is about 4 MOA at 50 yards.
Well, that doesn't sound too good.
No, but they're also, they showed a little picture of a bullet they're coming out with for it that's supposed to, it's basically a bullet with fins. It'll be interesting. I think their initial is 300 Blackout, and they're going to follow it up quickly with a 223.
Yeah. I think I'd rather
Eagle eyes on.
I'd rather spend the money, $200, get a tax stamp, and then be able to do whatever you want. You know, shoot regular bullets.
I doubt I'm in the market for it. I do appreciate folks taking a look at the stupid laws and finding ways to make fun of them like that, you know.
Oh yeah.
I guess if all you're interested in is a 30 cal projectile at a fairly slow speed at 25 yards, the radius than most handguns.
Yeah. Well, so what are you working on today?
At the moment, I got a whole bunch of 45 Colt brass that needs to be sized. It's all clean, just needs to be sized. But I saw Eagle Eye jump on, and I got a package in the mail from him the other day.
Oh, cool. What'd you get?
Yeah, he sent me one of those Yeti tumblers, but he powder coated it. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
A few of our favorite things. With that, he also included some. It's kind of that green and black powder coating. He sent me some 132 grain bullets. It's the NOE TL 357 135. All right, it's a
tumble lube.
Yeah, but it's a little NOE hollow point, and he's testing about BHN about 13.4. So with the shallow hollow point 13.4, I'm excited to try those in the gel with my 9mm and my 357.
So here's another one that I'm working on, or smoking, I guess. Let's see. So it's 140 grain 6.5 bullet. I think this one they made it for the 6.5 Creedmoor. I don't know what I'll use it for. Probably just for some plinking load, like 100-yard loads or something for the 6.5 Creedmoor, maybe 200 yards. I don't know.
You could be like that Franklin Arms Reformation. You can just turn it into a 50-yard gun.
Shoot it fast and have it be a 50-yard gun.
After that, it tumbles, right?
Yeah, or the rifling strips up that bullet. Yeah, for those of you who didn't see earlier, this is the new Wolverine mold. It's for the 277 Wolverine. It's 103 grain with a gas check, and then 105 grain with a plain base.
Fuzzy's here, and he noticed Tim and Uncle Jim are both in here. This is a dangerous place. Hey, speaking of stuff sent me, I never did thank you proper for Taco sent me this little camera. It was just like a Kodak knockoff of a GoPro, I think. But
it's so I can spy on you.
That and an awesome shirt.
Oh yeah.
I like that one.
So Eagle Eye, which one did you get? You got the 310 135? What are you going to be shooting that one in, Eagle Eye? This is the mold that Eagle Eye was mentioning. It's the 310 135. So I was also going to ask everybody, how many of you have gotten some of these? It's the Squirrel Daddy hardened steel decapping pin, or the universal decapping die. I finally broke the one that came with it, so I ordered those on Amazon, the Squirrel Daddy pins. So how many of you have tried it out, and have you broken one? That's my question.
You mean like this?
Oh yeah. So it looks like you haven't broken any if you have 2 in the bag.
Yeah, so I don't remember when I bought this. It's probably been a year, maybe 2 years. But yeah, my Lee Universal Decapper, I don't remember what I did, but I definitely bent the tip of that pin that came in it. And I don't remember what these were. They're just a couple bucks on Amazon, right? For the pack of 3, I think it was.
Yeah, I think I spent about $20 for 3 of them. 15 or 20 bucks on Amazon.
It's been long enough I don't remember, but I'm still on my first one. It's running just fine.
Sweet. Have you pushed it down on any Berdan primed cases yet?
I've never come across a Bernard Prime case.
What?
I don't load all the weird stuff like you do, man.
Oh man, I always have to sort my brass with a little flashlight to see which ones are Berdan and which ones are not.
I have not been kind to it though. It's run just fine. They're supposed to be hardened.
So I want to show everyone one of my latest gun purchases. It's let's see if you can. I don't know if you can see it very good.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the it's one of those 7.35 Carcano rifles, and unfortunately they removed the top wood cover, and then sporterized the stock. All the metal is like original though, so that's all right. But I was in the gun shop the other day, and I saw it there, and I was looking at it, and the gun shop guy said, "Hey, how much do you want to pay for it?" And I said, "Well, not very much." And he said, "Well, how much?" And I said, "Well, maybe $100." So he walked over to the computer, and then he looked at it, and he said, "Okay, I'll do $100." So
no, you misheard me. I said 50.
I mean 75. No, so he gave it to me for $100, and so I ended up looking on Amazon for some reloading dies, and I found this used set for $16. The funny thing about this die set is that it was used but in like new condition, and
like new, huh?
yeah, like new. I showed loads of bacon this last night. Let's see if I can find that picture. It came with 1 extra piece of brass.
A bonus.
Yeah. I'll see if I can hold this up so people can see. All right. This is a picture of my brand new or like new used dies that I got on Amazon. They came with 1 extra piece of brass that I needed to remove myself.
It was already chewed up like that?
Yeah, it looks like a guy probably bought it, stuck 1 case in, unlubed, and then tried to pry it out with some pliers or something. And then, but what I can't believe is that Amazon totally sold it with a stuck case in there. But luckily, I have a stuck case remover kit, and just drilled and tapped the brass and pulled it out last night. So I got a set of dies for $16, and it looks like it'll work fine. So, but free brass. Everyone wants 1 piece of free brass, right?
Free sample. After that, they charge you.
Yeah, only used 1 time.
$16 dies, and both of them needed a little modification.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard of the Carcano. I don't know much about it though. Is that like an old military rifle or?
Yeah, it's an Italian rifle. It uses bullets that I don't think anyone makes anymore, but you can get the brass, so that's good. But I figured when I was buying it, I figured I would just make my own bullets like I always do with weird stuff. So I just have to find a mold that casts out a 130 or 135 grain bullet at about I think it's 0.300 or 0.301 is probably where it needs to be. So another thing I'm working on, or have been working on lately, is you can see this bullet. This is that one 3030 bullet. It's a HTC NOE bullet, and I cast up a bunch of these, and I want to shoot those in my 94 with it's the 1971 commemoration NRA fancy full-length stock 3030.
Ocean 374 here.
So I don't know if you can see this good, but I picked this up from a pawn shop pretty cheap too, and it was like unfired, and so of course I took it out and fired it. But the thing I like about this one is it has a really long barrel, and it comes with the ladder sight. And so
that wood goes all the way down, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I figure with that much elevation adjustment, I could probably lob these out pretty far. So I want to see how far I can lob these bullets out in this gun and still hit stuff.
West Desert Shooter, take it to 1,000 yards. I'm just saying, you know.
How far did he shoot his 3030? I can't remember. He took it out and shot it for pretty far, I think. But yeah.
See, the reloader dude is on. Welcome, brother. There was a comment a while back though asking about 44 molds. I think Uncle Jim was looking for a 310 grain 44 mold.
310 grain bullet
for 44. It sounds like a Wii mold. I don't have one.
A 310 grain bullet for the 44?
Yeah.
I have something like that, of course. I think it might be a 350 though. I don't know, 300, 350. It's a ranch dog bullet, bullet mold. So,
welcome back. Comment. Somebody was asking for a recommendation for 44. Yeah, I think they were asking for 200 to 240 grain NOE. Looking for a recommendation.
Let's see. What caliber and what weight?
I'm not seeing it now. Maybe they retype it. It seemed like they were looking for 200 to 220, maybe 240 and 44. Looking for NOE mold.
Huh. Lots of options, I think. Oh, there's a couple comments about the Carcano and JFK and stuff. This one is a 735. The JFK one was a 6.5. Just to throw that out there. So, trying to catch up on all these comments. So William says that a light 3030 is a riot. He uses Trail Boss with a Lee 309 150. William, how far do you shoot that out to?
Mike Treen saying that the first edition Lyman has info on the 7.35 Italian.
Oh, cool. I'll have to take a look at that. I have to take a look at, I might have something in, like I have this Ken Waters Pet Loads book. There might be something in there too. I don't know. And I have this old NRA hand loading manual from a long time ago. Let's see.
I've heard a lot of good things about that Pet Loads book. I've never actually taken a look at it though.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. He tells stories and gives history on stuff. If you can find it cheaper, I'd say pick it up. I don't know. I think this one was a 1970s NRA book. So I don't know.
William Chapman's saying he shoots his at 150 yards so far.
150 yards. Yeah, I want to try and shoot that 30-30 with the iron sights, that ladder sight. I want to take it out to at least 500 yards, 400 yards. So I've got to decide if I'm going to do a subsonic load and try and get it out there and just rainbow it out like a 45-70, or if I'm going to try and get something that can stay supersonic that far. It's when you get a supersonic load that transitions to subsonic in flight, and you get it just goes to crap. So here's another bullet.
Guzman was saying he works for Amazon and was talking about their checks and stuff. I'm pretty sure he sent you that.
So Guzman was the one who sent me that extra brass case.
But he was the one asking for a good mold for the 44 special from NOE.
Yeah. Here's the other bullet I want to try in the 30-30 and maybe a 308. It's a Seiko 315 clone. This is the bullet that I was using in the 30-06 pistol load.
Hard to tell. They have like 9 lube grooves.
Yeah, but it's got let's see. It's got tapered not grooves, but bands. So like I don't know if I could show this very well. Let's see. So like the first part of the nose is like 301. Then you got 307 or 305. 305 or 307. It's hard for me to get this right with the. And then the back, you get, well, the back I sized to 312 to get the gas check on, and I'll size it down to 311 for the 30-30. Coates Brothers Firearms, he was asking what the twist rate is. I looked that up, and I knew it at one time. It's the standard rate that the 94s were done in for that period of time. I can't remember if that's I can't remember. Sorry, I'm not gonna say it without looking.
It's higher than the Franklin Armory Reformation.
But and for those of you who haven't seen any of those videos, Coates Brothers Firearms, you guys should check them out. It's a new channel, and he has a cool annealing video which shows how to do it the right way using Tempelac, the color changing paint, so you can make sure you get your annealing done at just the right temperature and not overcook your brass or get your brass heated up too far down on the case and weaken it, blow up the brass. So yeah, check out his videos. And I think he was shooting some pretty some long range stuff. He's actually trying to do a similar thing as me. I think he's trying to shoot some cast bullets out to like 500 or 600 yards, and so both kind of trying to do the same thing. So it'll be interesting. I'll keep watching that. He says his Savage is 1 in 14 twist. So yeah. But the other thing I'm excited about is using this little 277 Wolverine bullet, and I gotta do a test run of them and see if they cycle fine, and then I think I'm gonna cast them pretty hard, do like a 1-to-1 of like my hard to soft lead, and maybe even do like a I don't know, like a 2 hard to 3 soft. So I'll cast these really hard, water drop them, powder coat them, gas check them, and see if I can get them up to like 2,500 feet per second, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. It'll all depend on, maybe I can get them up to 2,600. I don't know. Have to test it. But 277 Wolverine. I'm kind of excited about playing around with that. I also finally got some gas checks for the 6.5 Grendel bullet. It's the 120 NOE Grendel bullet, so I'm gonna try doing some loads in that and shoot it in my bolt gun first.
What was the channel you mentioned earlier? The
Coates Brothers Firearms. And,
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, he has some. I guess his brother does the editing, so his brother does some good editing, and it looks and sounds good, but some good information there. So
Bigger Behind the Trigger Atkinson just showed up. He I don't know if you're familiar with him. He just posted, I think it was his second video, just a day or two ago. He has several videos planned coming up.
Huh. William says, with the Winchester 94 stock, I dislike shooting prone or from the bench. So he sits it cross-legged, elbows on the knees, kind of like a 45-70 type style of shooting. I guess not quite. The 45-70 is the sticks, but yeah, something similar. And
45-70, don't you have a revolver in 45-70?
I've got a lot of guns in 45-70. That's kind of one of my favorite calibers, I guess. I've got a 12-inch Encore threaded barrel in 45-70 and a handy rifle and a Sharps and a revolver and anyways, a couple 3 lever actions. So
somebody's asking how hard you what BHN you run in your cast and blackout.
So the blackout, I don't shoot a whole lot of supersonics with my 300 blackout, but I will usually do them about, I don't know, like 14 to 16 if I'm powder coating, and so except the subsonic ones, like the little plinker loads, like the birthday party, dueling tree, 300 blackout stuff. Those I just cast with like it's a 1 to 4, 1 to 5 of my hard to soft, and it comes out at probably around 10 to 12 BHN, and seems like it works pretty good. So Josue Guzman says he wants to see how far he can shoot a 50 BMG cast bullet. So yeah, you could probably shoot it pretty far as far as hitting stuff, but you know, that might be a little bit different. But I guess question for Josue is how with the 50 BMG twist rate, I wonder how well it stabilizes those big cast bullets going slower. So, and how fast are you going to try and push the bullet? And what bullet weight or bullet mold are you going to use?
You get some 50 cal round balls for that.
Because I have a BMG molds that I use for my 50 Alaska to do that subsonic. $50 at 700 at the SHOT Show, Uncle Jim says. And Eagle Eye asks if I smoke all the molds, and I will use Uncle Jim's phrase, smoke them if you got them. I like to smoke them, and I just get really good results if I just, it actually looks like I have a lot more smoke in there than I do, but I get good results. First or second cast, I get good bullets with proper fill and proper release, as long as I preheat the mold. So I do smoke them every time. Well, smoke them when I'm breaking them in, and then I never went to do it after that. So.
$50 for $700 at SHOT Show, complete gun. Is that this? Is that the Subaru RN50?
I don't trust any of those 50 cal rifles that are under $1,000.
Are you familiar with the Subaru RN50?
I've seen a bunch, but like I said, I don't pay attention to any of the 50 cals that are under $1,000.
I don't know a whole lot about that.
I don't trust
RN. There's a YouTube channel. I think it still exists, but there's a guy basically just made homemade guns. What was the new Royal Nunsuch?
Oh, that guy. Yeah, that guy makes some weird stuff.
He made a 50 cal. It was a single shot. You screw a cap on the back of it type thing. And Subaru picked it up, made some tweaks to it, and they started marketing it as the RN50. Uncle Jim says no, so $700 50. Maybe it's a high point.
And then I can't. William Chaplin, or I guess not Chaplin. I don't know how you say your last name. Chapin. Anyways, William says a round ball can't tumble, and it's funny because when I was first doing those the little like pea shooter loads in the 300 blackout, and people were they were giving me a hard time before I did it, saying that you might have problems, you might get a baffle strike, and so I said the same thing. I said, what do you mean? You think it's gonna tumble or something?
If it does, will you care?
If it does, are you gonna know? So anyways, so Josue Guzman says he wants to get the 880 grain mold. That's the same one I use in my the 50 Alaskan subsonic video, and that is a big bullet. Let me see if I can. I might even have one. Oh, right here.
I did see some footage from SHOT Show that showed a 50 cal with a huge suppressor on the front. So I expect it had a big can on the front and it's a big bullet. I'll either see it on your channel or Uncle Jim's channel in a couple months.
So this is what that bullet looks like. It weighs, let's see, how much? Yeah, about 875 grains is what this one weighs. And so you're looking at getting how many bullets per pound? Like, not very many. So less than 10 bullets?
Yeah, what, 8 or so?
Yeah, 8 bullets per pound of lead. So is that
the same bullet you were shooting in that giant water container?
Yeah, this is the same bullet I was shooting at the giant water container. Is like penetrating, just going like, what was it, 900 feet per second or so? It would penetrate the hard plastic on one side and then travel through about 4 feet of water or so. And then some of them were popping out the back and some of them were stopping. So just
Ocean 37 Source says it's a torpedo. It's perfect through all that water.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's funny though, because this slow-moving huge bullet can penetrate all that water, but then you take something faster and it just it stops in the first like foot or so. So I was gonna say, Josue, if you want, I could send you a couple of different bullets of like I got this one. I think this is a 600 or 650. Yeah, this one's a 600, and then I got the 880 grain bullet. Send you a couple samples if you want to try them out or something. Oh, I promised some people I was going to talk about this, or at least show it. Hang on a second.
Still want to see the Whopper farts. Yes.
So I ended up getting this not too long ago. It is the Tromix 500 SOCOM prototype upper, and I think he only built one of these, and I got it. So that's pretty cool. It's nothing like crazy different than a 50 Beowulf. It just uses a straight wall 458 SOCOM case. So you can see 458 SOCOM on the head stamp. And I guess Tromix, when he was playing around with this, he bought like 2,000 or 2,500 pieces of brass. And I figured I would need to buy all of them if I was getting the only rifle that they were made for. So I picked up all that brass, and I didn't realize how much that is in volume. But I got these two like big boxes of brass, and I think it fills up a 5-gallon bucket to the top plus some. So yeah, I wasn't expecting. I don't know what I was expecting. 50 cal like big brass just takes up a lot of space, I guess. So I'm gonna be. It shoots a 5, a 5, like a 500 mag bullet. So just like the Beowulf, it does not use the BMG sized like the 510s. So it just uses the 500s, 501s, 502s, and so I'm gonna probably make some of the NOE 600 grain bullets. See if I can get them to work in this 500 SOCOM upper and play around with that. So that's what I have coming up in the next whenever I get around to it. But I'm excited to play around with another big bore AR for sure.
So now your normal plinking round for handgun is 500 Smith and Wesson, and your normal plinking round for an AR is going to be a 50 caliber bullet.
Yeah. Now I do have a 50 Beowulf, but I've had to do a lot of like tweaking and like mag modifying and a lot of work trying to get that to run. 458 SOCOM, I hear people talk about feeding issues, but I don't have feeding issues with my 458 SOCOM. And so I've shot that a whole lot more than the 50 Beowulf. I'm hoping that this 500 SOCOM I can get to run like really well, and then I might just get rid of my 50 Beowulf. Except I bought a ton of 50 Beowulf brass, so I'll probably keep that too. I need like a bolt action 50 Beowulf or something.
Get a special barrel made for your Thompson.
Yeah. And I don't know. The Beowulf is weird because it has so much. I think it uses the 7.62 by 39 rim size. So you got this 50 cal case, and it goes all the way down to this little skinny rim, and that's why this one is kind of cool, because it uses the 458 SOCOM rim. So it's not as rebated.
Yeah.
So.
Ozark Spirit says me either 458 and feeding issues. That's I need to join because I plan on picking up a 458 upper.
Yeah, I think the 458 SOCOM with the necked case, I think that helps with the feeding issues. Whereas if you have like, a Beowulf or something like this that has just a big straight case, and you're trying to feed that up a ramp into a semi-auto, into the chamber, I think it's just tougher to do. So I think if I get a pointy or round nose bullet for this, it should help feed in the 500 SOCOM.
Yeah.
But let's see. Jeff Huntley says, I've been using the NOE 500 Smith & Wesson in my 50 Beowulf. Oh, now are you the one who is using the big the big super deep hollow point in the Beowulf, Jeff Huntley. So if I was going to say, if this bullet, I think this is the bullet that Jeff Huntley is talking about. It's the super deep hollow point. It's a 700 grain bullet, or 694 or something.
I have the same bullet. Eagle Eye Shooting sent it to me.
Yeah. So
Yeti on the side of it though.
Yeah, so I wonder if this would work into the 500 SOCOM. That would be pretty sweet. So Jeff Huntley has confirmed. So he says yes. How fast are you shooting those out? Are you doing subsonic with them or what? Oh, CS Reloading Bench just checked in, says hi.
Awesome. I bet he'd appreciate your 30-30 you were showing.
Oh, yeah. Well, put it away. Oh, and I can't remember if I showed this gun, but this one was like one I got on a kind of a crazy trade. So most of you know I really enjoy like the military surplus rifles, and for those of you who don't recognize this one, this is a Moss 4956. It's a semi-auto that shoots that the 7.7 French or 7.5 French round. So anyways, I'm gonna do some I want to see if I could do some casting and reloading with this thing, but yeah, it's a pretty cool old rifle. I guess it's not super old, but yeah. So it's a 7.5 French. Yeah, that's what it's. But this one's in great condition.
Jeff Huntley says he hasn't chronoed them yet.
So he hasn't.
Gooseman says he went halfsies on his smithy mill, plans on making some solid brass bullets for the 450 SOCOM, maybe 300 and maybe 500 grains.
Solid brass bullets. That's got to cost quite a bit to make solid bullets. I wonder if you can shoot your bullets and then recover them and then melt them down again. But
if you need a bunch of brass, I heard there's a guy that might have a whole bunch of extra 50 Beowulf brass laying around.
So commenter says he just dumped a 50 Beowulf upper. So I have to ask, why did you get rid of your 50 Beowulf upper? And while we're waiting for the lag for him to answer, I do want to. Well, I'm going to show one more thing real quick. So I ended up taking this gun out. This is my handy rifle and 500 mag, and this is the Bowers Verse 50 suppressor. And I've had so much fun with this 50 cal suppressor, but I was shooting these into gel, and I'll have a video coming up in the next while showing some of these shot into gel, what they do and what they do to the gel. But I was using this little single shot handy rifle with a with that Bowers suppressor, and shooting those into the gel. Now I could do it without hearing protection. It was still a little bit loud, but not like hurt your ears loud. So it was quite pleasant to shoot with this thing.
That's
So
a sweet little setup.
yeah, I'm gonna tell say to Uncle Jim, you got to get yourself a 50 cal suppressor so you can start doing some big bullet subs. And oh, I also wanted to say just for any of you guys who have looked into getting like a 50 cal type suppressor for like subsonic 50 cals, that Bowers Verse 50 is a really good suppressor. But what's really cool is I emailed Bowers support asking about an adapter for the 500 SOCOM, and I think it was the owner who got back with me, and man, they have some good customer service. And I told him what I was using it for and everything, and he ended up sending me a like a bunch of stuff. So he got me like this water bottle and like can opener, and gave me this tool wrench for the suppressor, and then he also sent me another adapter for the suppressor, like a thread adapter. So I'm going to be trying to shoot the 500 SOCOM suppressed with that Bowers Verse 50 suppressor sometime.
If that works out, you're gonna have to get an AR pistol version of it too.
AR pistol. The thing is, there's only one in the world. There's no more 500 SOCOMs. I bought the only one.
You have to paint a unicorn on the side of it too.
Yeah. So I asked him. I said, hey, you know, do you have any others? Because I know there's some of my friends will want one. And he said, no, that's the only one. I guess he was posting on the 458 SOCOM forums to see if there's interest in it. And he only got about like 10, 15 people. And so he says usually if how many people say they're interested, about half of them are willing to pony up with the money to actually buy it. So he said it wasn't worth it to for him financially to make a bunch of them yet. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's not the type of thing you put on Kickstarter.
It would actually be kind of cool if you could kickstart a 500 SOCOM, but I don't think they're too into guns and stuff over there.
Yeah. Scott's here. Well, it was going all right, Scott, but now you're here is going awesome.
So I wanted to show you guys
8 pounds of trail box you got in the background.
So this is another thing that I've been working on lately. As you can see, it's a Lee 20-pound casting pot, and this
looks like you got a fondue thing. Is that chocolate all over the side?
Yeah. You know, we use it for chocolate or lead, you know, depending on what the occasion is. But anyways, there's people had requested a mold guide, a replacement mold guide for the Lee pots. And so I kind of drew up a design with the guys from NOE, and got this adapter right here. And so I don't have it tightened down all the way, but it just slides right on, and then there's a set screw on the side, and then it allows you to use that replacement mold guide from for the Lee or the Lyman and the RCBS. So this is the prototype right here, and I need to test it, but it's kind of cool. It allows you to like you could set it up if you want to cast at an angle or something. You can do that, and then just lock it down. And you can slide it horizontally and vertically to get it where you want it. And some of the people were asking about, you know, because the Lees drip a lot, and So my Lyman pot actually drips a little bit, and what I do is I just put the mold on and have it push the drips in the back, and then I have a little ingot mold to catch the lead drips. But I haven't had a problem with, with dealing with that. But
that's awesome.
So that's what I got to do. Maybe this afternoon after this live chat is test out this mold guide and see if I run into any issues. But pretty excited about that. That'll help all the Lee podcasters who are using the NOE hollow point molds, or people who are using heavy molds like the brass molds. They actually have a shelf they can set it on, and it'll make casting with those a little bit easier too. So
yeah, that's perfect.
There it is.
For some reason, that reminded me of, I've got a couple of molds. Let's see, a couple Arsenal. Maybe had another one that the sprue plate stuck off so far. I had it sticking out the far end, but when I tried to run the mold under the Lee pot, the end of that sprue plate was hitting the back.
Yeah.
So I had to flip it around, and so the sprue plate was pointing at me.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we were considering, like on the original design of the Lyman one. I say that it's left indexing, but you can actually set it up so it's right indexing. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. The length in the front is the same as the length in the back. So you can, if you wanted to, you could mount your mold backwards, so to speak. Sometimes I cast with the sprue plate edge facing towards me, but you can flip this around, and so you can have it right indexing if you want, or you could set it up so that it's at an angle, and that might give you the space you need with like a 5 cavity mold. So just gives you some options. And I don't know how much those adapters are going to cost, but I assume you just buy the adapter and then buy the just the regular Lyman and RCBS replacement mold guide. And I can't remember how much those cost either. But all right, so let's see comments.
You don't have to buy them once though.
Yeah, you only have to buy it once, and it's made well. It's good, high quality. So I don't know. I like mine. So Reloader 762 asks which of the automatic dispensers, powder dispensers, I like best, and then Fuzzfork 8 responds, Full.Lead.Taco uses the lead dippers went off the screen. So I will say I do have a set of those lead dippers, and I have a video planned for the future where I talk about the lead dippers and how to use them and whatnot. And
I've seen you use them on the range.
Yeah, when you're using Trail Boss, you just scoop it till it fills it up. But I like, you can see in the back I have 2 Lyman Gen 6s and then 2 Hornadies. I like them for different reasons. Seems like the Hornady, I have to slow down. If I don't slow it down, it over charges, and then the alarm goes off, and I have to dump it back in and redo it. So I slow the speed down. And on the Lymans, they are fast. They trickle really fast. But I found that sometimes they over trickle, but they don't give you the alarm saying that they did over trickle. So when I want to do it fast, I'll use the Lymans, and then I have my cheap Cabela scale that I'll double check the charge with, and so it still is faster than the Hornady, but I don't trust the charge quite as much, if that makes sense. The Hornadies, I've had the Hornadies for a long time, and they work well. But like I said, they do overcharge, and then the alarm goes off, and you have to dump it in. And so the way around that is to slow the speed down to the slowest. But so sacrifice speed for accuracy, something like that. But they both work. They both work fine. Loads of Bacon has the RCBS trickler, and I think he likes his.
I do, and actually, I haven't shown it in video yet. I haven't talked about it all yet. But behind my RCBS 1500, I've got the newer one, the RCBS Chargemaster Lite, and I've been playing with it a little bit. And
the Chargemaster Lite is like a lineman.
You know, I bought it for a couple of reasons. If I've told several folks lately, if you're in the market right now, I would take a look at the Hornady or the Lyman. The 1500 is really nice, but I'm not sure it's worth the extra cost, and they don't make it anymore. It's been discontinued. The Chargemaster Lite is the replacement for it.
That can you hold up that the Chargemaster Lite so I can see the front of it? I mean, it really does look like it's similar to the Lyman.
Can you see that?
Yeah. All right, so you hold up yours and I'll hold up mine, and we'll see the differences. So you got to say something.
So I saw Johnny's reloading bench had the Lyman, and he showed how you can take it apart. You can't do that with the Chargemaster Lite.
Oh, I gotta remember to say this. I know a lot of people have the Lyman and they like it. One thing I do not like about the Lyman is powder gets everywhere inside. The Hornady is really easy to take the powder out when you're done. So for the Hornady, all you gotta do is just twist this thing down here, and then it all falls out.
That's the same way both of the RCBSs work.
The Lyman, it has this little gate that you open like that, and then it has this thing you lift up, and supposedly it comes out. But what I have a problem with is after all the powder is out, supposedly, I can shake it, you know, lightly, and I can hear powder in there. And so I have to take it apart to get all the powder out. And I do not know how it gets in there. So I don't know. Just to throw that out there, powder somehow gets like all inside there.
Yeah. Willie Bullet Man is here. Ocean 374 want to know if my 1500 started making this weird grinding noise, started acting a little funny. And that's when I went and ended up ordering the Chargemaster Lite. I'm about to pull that 1500 apart to take a look inside. I called RCBS to see if any chance they'd fix it or they had any sort of wiring diagrams or anything. Basically, they're all made offshore, and they're only I was a nice lady, but their only service plan was basically send it to us and we'll send you a new one. But with the 1500, they don't make it anymore. So
Buzzfork 8 says it's tax return time. Everyone is itching to shop. So isn't that the truth?
Now, I will tell you, adding the automated power dispenser to my reloading room, one of the best decisions I ever made. I love using those things.
Yeah, I like using mine too. It's nice. Okay, here's another difference between the Hornady and the Lyman that I like. I think the Lyman is a lot easier to switch powders and charges in one sitting. The Hornady one, maybe I just don't know how to use it right, but I haven't figured out how to change charges after you start trickling. I always have to turn it off and then turn it back on, let it warm up. But I don't know, maybe I need to read the instructions again and figure that out. But the Lyman is really easy to do that. So. The warranty.
What's my favorite load? What's that?
Oh, someone asked about the Eagle Eye was asking about the warranties between the tricklers, and I think everyone, I think the warranties are actually crappy on them because they're made in China, and they do break. But I will say that my Hornady power adapter like cords, I had them both like break, and well, it just the rubber started breaking and exposed the wiring on the power adapter. And I told that to Hornady, and they didn't even ask when I bought it. They just sent me 2 new power adapters. So I don't know. It's that says something about their warranty service, but
yeah.
You were saying something before I interrupted you.
Oh no, somebody's Josue Guzman was asking what my favorite load to shoot for the 45 Colt. I haven't played with a bunch of them yet, but so far, both of those 255 grainish bullets, the semi-wad cutter and the full wad cutter, they shoot about the same. Going for load, I'm using, is it 8.5 grains of unique, and just kind of a lighter load, either 6 grains of unique or 4.5 grains of E3. They were both shooting about 700 feet a second. I need to do some more playing with that. Actually, I think eventually I'm going to end up shooting that with loading some with some black powder, just for the fun of it. And
some black powder 45 Colt loads. Then you're gonna have to tear down your gun and clean it and scrub it so you don't get it all rusty.
I probably won't shoot a bunch of them that way. I want to load up some 38 special with black powder too, because why not?
So, real quick, Gunsmoke says, Taco, you do know that the whole piece with the powder drain door pops out of the side of the Lyman, don't you? That's how you clean it out completely. Yeah, I've watched, I think Johnny's video where he took it all apart and stuff. But what I was meaning before is just that the Hornady one, it's kind of a sealed design so that you don't have to take it apart because powder doesn't get all inside the machine. So I don't know, pros, cons. The Lyman, you have to take it apart because powder does get everywhere. The Hornady, you don't have to take it apart because powder doesn't get everywhere, but you can't take it apart if you need to. So I don't know.
Now with the Chargemaster Lite, so far I'm not all that impressed with it. But my only I haven't done enough playing with it to make a final decision. But so far, sitting next to the 1500, it's extremely slow. I haven't done any big charges though, just handgun charges.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like your setup where you're running multiple, and you're basically you've always got a powder charge waiting on you to load. My 1500 will kick out 2 or 3, or dispense 2 or 3 different charges before the Chargemaster Lite finished the first one.
So your Chargemaster, the old one is faster than the new one?
Quite a bit faster.
Oh.
At least for the loads I've tried. Again, I haven't extensively tested it yet, but loading, you know, if I throw unique in both of them and I set it for something like 7.5 grains, dinner, come back and the Charge Master light's about done trickling the first one.
So Johnny's reloading bench, he says, I definitely still tear apart the lineman after every use. It's really only worth my time when I'm loading a really large batch. Most of my vids, I'm doing 25 rounds of powder, and it's not worth it. So, yeah.
Yeah, my RCBS, I open up that port on the side. I let the powder pour out. I'll have a dispense one load, empty out the tube, and I'll kind of blow in it, and it's done. I can swap out the 1500 between powders in a couple minutes.
Yeah. So I will admit, you know, with how easy it is to drain the powder with just by turning this upside down, I am guilty of leaving it upside down and dumping a pound of powder in there and see it all start pouring out the bottom and panic and hurry and flip it up. But that's user error, not a design.
You do that 2 or 3 times and you start to become OCD about that spout. I've done that a time or two, and when you're cleaning up powder on the bench, you learn real quick to check that thing about 5 times before you put new powder in.
Yeah, you only have to do it once or twice, and then you are almost fanatical about checking that. So. So I was just going to let everybody know too, when I picked up my molds yesterday from NOE, I just live like 5 minutes from the NOE bullet mold shop, which is probably a little bit unhealthy for my wallet. But but yeah, I talked to Al. He's the guy who kind of like the main guy at NOE bullet molds, and I asked him if he'd like to be or not if he'd like to, but if he'd be willing to be like a guest on a Bacon Taco live chat in the future, and he said he would. So, if you guys think that'd be cool, then let me know in the chats or comments. So we'll bring him on, and he could answer questions about how molds are made or how things work, and
that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So Al at NOE, he's known as the bullet maker. So make things that make the bullets.
Now, is business pretty good for them? I'm assuming he's busy enough right now that he doesn't get to shoot or make bullets all that often himself.
No, he doesn't get to go shooting very often at all. He's at that shop all the time. I guess being what do you call it? Where you have your own business, you really put in the blood, sweat, and tears.
Oh yeah,
make it run. So he's there all the time, working at late hours and everything. So I watched what says. Tell Al to order more 6.5 gas checks and get Al out of the shop. So I don't know if you can see this, but this is what I picked up yesterday. Got my 6.5 gas checks. I know I watched what was also wanting these, so he just barely got a new shipment of gas checks, the Gator gas checks in, and there were some 6.5 gas checks, so I hurried and ordered those. I was going to use these with the 6.5 Grendel cast bullet and see what I could do with that. So go ahead, check the site. Oh, real quick too, if you guys are going to buy something at NOE and you want to save like a few bucks, I have a coupon code. It's FLT001, and you can use that and save 10%. it's not as good as when there's like a group buy discount code or like some of his sales where it's like 20% off. But if you don't have any coupon code to use, go ahead and use that to save a few bucks. I'll type it into the chat real fast.
Johnny's Loading Bench says he really likes his NOE molds, but the site's a little intimidating. They make a billion different molds. Don't they? It seems like last time I was there was something about a draft website or a new website or something.
Yeah, that's the other reason why he's so busy lately. Trying to balance the time with building these new group buys and making some new designs, and also catching up after the end of the year sales and stuff. But he's also trying to get the new website up and running, but they've had a few hiccups with that, of course. That seems like that's the case with almost every new website. So Fuzz Fork 8 says Lyman is really missing out by not making molds like they used to. Maybe they see a day there won't be lead. So
I don't know if you watch Elvis or Eagle Eye Shooter or Willie Bullet Man. Maybe they need to start making molds specific for zinc.
yeah, those would be. I think you have to make the iron molds to cast zinc. I think aluminum, you'll wear it out too fast doing zinc bullets. But I don't know. I think they might do it in the future, but that's probably a question for Al if we can get him to come on this live chat next time or sometime in the future. So Willie says that's why we use zinc. And then
Both of you should make an obsolete caliber reloading series. Can't find anything on 7mm.
Huh. 7mm.
Well, depending on who you ask. That's all I load is obsolete calibers because I'm loading 45 Colt and things for revolvers. Several folks come basically revolvers are obsolete.
Calibers, I think a lot of the stuff I shoot is, I don't know if I call them obsolete, but they're just really weird and harder to find ammo for. So I have a lot of old military surplus rifles that I load and shoot, and a lot of those are really expensive to find ammo for. So I save money by making my own ammo, and save extra money by making my own bullets for.
So, have you ever heard the debate between whether it's 45 Colt or 45 long Colt, and seen people get all upset about that?
I've heard it. A bunch of older guys argue about it, but to me, I don't care. It's the same thing.
Yeah, the same. But I decided. Did you see? You've probably seen it as well yourself. You load 45 Colt. The Hornady brass, and a couple other people make brass that's a little too short.
Oh yeah. Well, the 4570 Hornady brass is too short too. Is because they have their pointy bullets, and they have to cut the brass down so that they can still have enough overall length. So I hate the Hornady brass with like 4570 and 45 Colt and that kind of stuff. Drives me crazy.
Yeah, I 45 Colt brass right now. The 40 piece of Hornady. This one's full length. Nice. But I got a couple bags of the short stuff for Hornet's Nest. I'm going to cut that down to the same length as 45 Schofield and start calling it 45 Short Colt.
Nice. Do you have a Schofield, or you just going to shoot the short one like a 45?
I'll just shoot. I don't have Schofield. I had some 45 Schofield brass, but the rim on it is actually different than Colt. So I sent that brass over to Fortune Cookie.
Ah, okay.
I could have just bought a shell holder for $2 and called it a day, but that sounds boring.
Yeah. So Josue Guzman says he calls it long Colt just to make his dad mad.
Anyone else smell bacon tacos? West Desert Shooter is here.
Welcome, West Desert Shooter.
Hey, Thorzax is on too.
Welcome, Dave. So, I don't know if have I done any 45 Colt videos? I don't think I have done any reloading videos, but
I think you shot your Rossi 92 in 45, but I think it was just shooting.
Yeah, I actually shoot like a ton of 45 Colt. I have those two 45 Colt lever guns that are identical. They're set up identical. One's blued and one's stainless. Mine's stainless and my wife's is blued. But we use those all the time to do like duels on the dueling tree and on the double spinner from Buckeye targets. But yeah, I have a couple Blackhawks and a Vaquero and the little shorty SBR suppressed 45 Colt. But yeah, I 45 Colt is one of my favorite rounds too. 4570, 45 Colt. 45 Colt is kind of like a 4570 Junior.
Yeah. Janito from Argentina is here. Welcome, man.
Hey, welcome.
Now, Rossi 92, I've got one. I know you've got a few, but I was wanting to pick one up in 357, and I can't find them. Are they still making those?
They're not making them right now. They've kind of discontinued them. So if you are looking for one and you can find one, buy it because you're probably not going to find it. I think one of the issues they were having is people were having feed issues going between 38 Special and 357 Mag because of the length differences. And yeah. I don't know if they just got tired of like returns or, you know, having to support that or not. But I have one. It's a 20-inch barrel 357. And I only shoot 357 out of it. I don't really do a whole lot of 38 Special in my 357 guns because I don't like that little ring of crud that I have to clean out. So, ooh, Mueller deal says
family just northeast of Wenatchee on US 2. I got to ask exactly where, if he wants to say.
So Mueller deal says he just barely picked up a 357.92 a month ago. So
oh, that's awesome.
That's a good score.
Yeah, actually, the Rossi 92 is not a great rifle out of the box. It's decent. It's not great, but it doesn't take much work to turn it into a really good rifle.
Yeah, I've kind of done a few mods. I have was it Steve's Guns video, and I did some of the mods that he does in the video and slick it up. And then once you get them slicked up and you get 1,000 rounds, they're nice and smooth. I love mine.
Yeah.
So Walter Bunning says the Henry 357 also doesn't like 38 Special. So
Waterville, Douglas County seat. My Rossi 92 and 44 doesn't like this bullet in 44 Special. 44 Magnum case is fine, but it doesn't like it in 44 Special. Has feed issues. But the Keith bullet in 44 Special, it'll feed just fine.
Yeah, the longer the bullet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if you're going to use 38 Specials in 357, you got to use a longer bullet, like a Keith bullet or just something a little bit longer. Yeah, I've got this a Keith bullet in 357 that works in a 38 case. But I just don't, the crud ring, I just don't like it. I think
Mueller says a very pretty gun, but the rear sight is a little tweaked. I'm not a big fan of that buckhorn sight. I took mine off and I took out that stupid safety plug thing and I put in one of the Steve's Guns little peep sights into that safety. So I'm running a peep sight on mine.
All right, so this is my Rossi right here. I ended up putting this like a Skinner peep right there, and that I love this setup. And I just got a little, having a little bit of leather on the leather wrap or a leather cover on the lever makes it really nice to shoot. Doesn't hurt the fingers at all.
CS Reloading Bench says on his Rossi 357, it doesn't like 357, but it loves 38s.
I've never heard that before. That's interesting. So Walter says he runs the Skinner peeps on his Henrys, and he likes those much better. I have to agree. I love those Skinner peep sights, and I actually try and throw those on all my Rossies. They just works good. I'm a lot faster with it too. I get on target a lot faster.
Yeah.
The stock factory ones, I just don't like the way they work.
All right, let me wander away for a second and go grab my Rossi.
All right, show and tell. So I watched what says he has 2,000 gas checks on the way, and I'll have to try and do a video on the 6.5 Grendel with the cast bullet and see how it goes. I think I might try a load similar to yours, and I don't know, just see how it goes. So while Bacon is looking for his lever gun, I have a question for everybody. If you had to get rid of one of your guns today, what would be the first that you kick out of the safe for out of your possession? What would you get rid of first?
I'll go ahead and answer that for me since while they're typing. That'd be a tough call. Do I get rid of my little Kel-Tec 380 or my High Point 9mm? I wouldn't be heartbroken with either.
Yeah, I am not a fan of the Kel-Tec handguns, though. They're
80. Actually, I had it in 32 before they even made it in 380. When they came out with it in 380, I got rid of the 32, got the 380, and then Ruger copied it with their LCP, and made it a whole lot better. Here's the Rossi. I've got a fiber optic on the front.
Oh, nice.
And then in the back, I've got the little peep sight. That's where that little safety lever goes.
Have you tried one of the barrel-mounted peep sights at all?
No, this is all I've run on this, and it's a lot of fun. But the other day I pulled it out, was wanting to see if I could get any sort of groups with it at 100 yards. It had been a long time since I'd shot it that far, and I pulled that up, and the little green dot on the front of this thing completely covered my target at 100 yards. That's how I knew I was on target. I couldn't see the target anymore. If I could see any edge of the target, I had to adjust my aim a little. So yeah, I'm probably shooting. We'll call it 9 MOA with that, just because I can't see the target behind the sight.
So the way I have my Rossi set up, you can see I still have the factory brass bead, and the way I have it's kind of different and maybe seems weird for most people when they first shoot it, but then after they shoot it a little bit, then they understand why I did it. But I have the rear sight, so that you stick the brass bead. So the brass bead is touching the bottom of the ring, the ghost ring or peep sight, and then your target sits right on top of the brass bead, so you can see your target completely. And I don't know, I set it up that way because it seems like it's fast for me, and it doesn't. I don't have to cut a target in half. I just put the brass bead right under the target, and then the target sits right in the middle of the circle. So seems to work well for me, and so that's how I set it up. So William Chaplin said, or I keep mispronouncing his last name.
Curtis.
Yeah. Anyways, he says his Rossi 92 bead fell out, and he put in a plastic replacement. I had the exact same thing happen on that 45 Colt, and so I stole the brass front sight brass bead, from my Rossi 92 SBR, where I wasn't using the iron sights. So yeah, they're not the strongest sights, those factory ones, but they work okay.
Eagle Eye Shooting is heading out. Later,
man. So people aren't answering the question. They're saying they're not going to get rid of any guns. But the question is, if you had to get rid of one, which one would be out the door first? You have to do it.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm scrolling back to see if there's any answers to that.
Oh, Mike Treen said Keltec PF9.
Bigger behind the trigger Atkinson says, my wife. I hope he's answering something else. That doesn't count.
Mueller Deal says the H&R handy rifle and 300 blackout.
I love my handy rifle. I got 5 different barrels, but the 300 blackout, I don't. Some of the twist rates on some of the handy rifle barrels were really odd. I don't know if that's his issue or not, but
Morty Smith says the Savage BA Stealth 6.5 Creedmoor. Why would you want to get rid of that one? And William, he says also the Ruger M77R and 17 HMR. I'm curious why you'd want to get rid of those guns. KRA says sub 2000.
Walter Bunning isn't all that impressed with his new Smith & Wesson 25.
25?
Yeah, he says the new Smith & Wesson Mod 2515 just got. Yeah. Uncle Jim says the LCP2 is better than an LCP. I've got a buddy that has an LCP. It has there's some upgrades done to it though, some changes with the trigger and stuff, and it's that LCP is definitely a lot better than my Keltec.
Yeah, the LCP, I had one for a while, and I just sold it because I couldn't hit stuff with it very well, and I figured if I'm carrying a gun for self-defense, even if it is easy to fit in the pocket and stuff, I have to at least be able to hit stuff with it. So the J frame has kind of taken the place of the LCP for me. I'll just throw a J frame in the pocket and the little Smith & Wesson 642, and I can hit stuff with that one. But the LCP was just too hard for me to hit stuff with.
The nice that Keltec, which is basically the predecessor to the LCP, it is light enough and small enough you can wear basically swim trunks that are too small and still conceal the thing.
So I figured I'd show this gun. This is one I I've had this gun for a while. It's the Savage Mark II. I think I forget the letters of it. FVSR, I think. FVSR. Anyways, during the Black Friday sales, I picked up this blemished MDT chassis for it and put this all together. So it's my little tactical, quiet 22. Although I have to say, I don't shoot 22s like hardly ever, and so I'd probably get rid of one of my 22s first.
Yeah.
Just because
Juanito says 22 is not reloadable. It's interesting. There's a channel called the Reloading Podcast. They had a guy on there the other night that has a company. Later, he sells a product where you can reload 22.
So Walter Bunning says the new Smith 25 really lacks quality. Stocks fit poorly. Bluing is lame. Not the old Smith quality. And Uncle Jim says the Keltec can break your lip when the slide breaks in half. Saw it happen in person. 500 or 5,000 round life. James Pollard says one of the 22s.
I've had my Keltec for 15 years and I haven't put 5,000 rounds in it. That's for sure.
So the reason Morty says that he'd get rid of that 6.5 Creedmoor is because he wants a bigger boom boom or kaboom boom, and the Creedmoor was more like a Christmas impulse buy. I can understand the desire to have a little bit bigger of a boom. Big bullets are fun.
Says the guy that points with 50 cals.
Yeah. Josue Guzman says Keltec equals pipe bombs with triggers.
Keltec seems to be they do some weird stuff. They come out with some neat and innovative designs, but usually it's better to wait for Ruger to come out with their copy of the product. I was a little bit interested when they came out with the KSG, the Keltec shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a buddy that bought one. And we were at the range and I got a lot of feedback from you. I don't know.
Oh, sorry, I was moving some stuff.
But there were a lot of slam fires of that thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he sent it back and they fixed it, but it was a little odd to close the slide on a 12 gauge and it goes bang and there's no finger anywhere near the trigger.
Oh, geez. That's scary. So Thorzak says it's a 50-50 deal about getting a good one. I think he's talking about the Thorzak, are you talking about the Smiths or the Keltecs? Because I think Keltec is you might be a little bit less than 50%. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to show something real fast too. I got these new, like, I guess it's a press mounting kit or system. I'm going to try and move the camera so I can show you. So there's a Pat Marlin's site. I think it's patmarlins.com. He sells these docks. He calls them the rock docks. I was looking to be able to remove my presses from my reloading bench and pop in like a different one, but without having to drill all the holes for each press. Sometimes especially now in the wintertime, I don't like sizing bullets in the garage. And I usually have my Forster on at the end of the desk or bench, and then I have my lock and load progressive over here. And so I wanted to be able to just put my Lee one in pretty quick. And so he makes this little dock system that works pretty good. You just loosen the screws and slide it out. And there's a plate that goes onto the bottom of the press, and you just slide it in and lock it down. So I'll do a video on that sometime too. But yeah, he also makes these cool dies to make your own gas checks. And so I have some of those in 45, like 458. So I can make my own plain base gas checks. So I can buy plain base bullet molds. And if I want to gas check them, I can make my own gas checks and then swage it on to the plain base. Cool. And I can run it at the higher velocities and pressures. So he has some cool stuff. If you want to check out his site, it's Pat Marlin. Well, let me see. I think it's patmarlins.com. I'll double check that.
Yeah, for a long time, I had my rock chucker. There's a little RCBS accessory plate that lots of stuff bolts to, and I had it mounted to that. But I found that I always had it on there and got annoyed by having to take it off, so I just mounted it to the bench. And I figured out a way to screw my Lyman lubricizer on there and a couple other things.
So yeah, it's patmarlins.com, and he makes all the plates for like I think lubricizers and powder throws and all that kind of stuff. So it's helpful for me.
Doesn't matter how many benches you have, you never have enough bench space.
Exactly. I need to see if he has like one for my vise. I'd love to have be able to just slide my vise in and then lock it down, so I can, when I work on guns and do that kind of stuff, instead of using the C clamps. I hate using C clamps, but yeah, I'll have to call him up or email him and see if he makes one, or even makes a plate that I could drill my own holes in to mount in. I don't know, but let's see.
Inline fabrication makes some nice stuff too, where you can do some quick mounting. I haven't purchased any of their stuff, but I've been on their website many times, kind of drooling.
Yeah, their stuff is, I think it's top of the line, but top dollar too, isn't it? I looked at some of their stuff and I don't know. It's funny. I get cheap on certain things, and then some stuff I'm not cheap. Like sometimes I'll get cheap on certain gun purchases, but then other ones I'm willing to spend more. But I have seen their stuff too, and it is well-made stuff. I have a friend who keeps telling me I need to try out one of their mounting systems. But yeah. Oh, link for the mount. Let me see. K-Ray, which mount are you talking about? Are you talking about the press mount or a mount that someone else is talking about? I can put a link in there, but so Johnny says he's the same way. Those mounts are just something he can't bring himself to pay for. They're just a little bit, I don't know. You get to a point where you're like, I could buy the mount for my press, or I could buy another press or part of another press or something. It gets hard to spend the money on that kind of stuff sometimes.
If I were to start from scratch, I might consider one of those things, but the bench I've got here built out of pine 2x material, kind of morphed over the years. I've got this thing built up to where I'd want that anyway, so.
Yeah.
And with my single stage, my turret, I never move my presses. That's all I ever use is these two. I will throw some other stuff on this RCBS plate, but.
So that's the link for that. The rock dock is what he calls it, but it's just a simple product that works. It mounts nice and sturdy, so I bought 3 of them, so I can mount 2 presses on here and then 1 in the garage, and I can move them out as I need to.
When I first started casting, I took my my Limer lubricizer and I mounted it to a piece of 2x4. Had the bolts coming up from the bottom, and they were recessed so they didn't stick out. And whenever I needed to use it, I'd just go sit at the kitchen table and I'd C-clamp either side of that 2x4 to the table I was sitting at. It worked just fine.
Yeah, it's kind of funny what you do to when you first start out and you get stuff that just works good enough, just good enough, and then over time you get your process better and better and nicer stuff, I guess.
Some of that stuff is nicer, but the end result is the same.
Yeah, it's true. So certain
For a
stuff.
long time, my press was mounted to a desk I bought at some sale. I think I paid $10 for it. It weighed about 900 pounds. Worked just fine.
Yeah, I like. So I built my current bench with some solid wood doors as the top, and man, this thing is super sturdy. My old bench had wheels on it and stuff, and I kind of wheel it into a closet and then pull it out when I needed to load. And that one had a door, a solid door on top too.
Buzzy says that his first bench was an old TV cabinet.
Huh.
My grandparents had a couple of the old wooden TV cabinets. My grandpa had gutted the tube out of the TV, mounted some lights in there. My grandma kept flowers in there. But man, those things, they're built better than modern cars.
So Bigger Behind the Trigger says, what are your thoughts on the Lyman T-Mag press? I don't have any thoughts on it because I haven't ever used it. I haven't even seen it at a shop, so I don't really have any opinions on it yet.
Pictures of it, but I've never put my hands on one.
So I watched what says that his Lyman 45 is still mounted to a 2x6 that he C-clamps to the bench.
That works. That works. There's a lot of people, it seems, in the shooting community, but a lot of people in the shooting community that they'll get into the sport, and all of a sudden it's like anything else in life. It's money I can spend. It really, as long as we can put a little chunk of metal through whatever target we intend to put it at, the rest is just fun and details.
Yeah, it just has to be sturdy enough for your press to, to withstand the leverage of the press handle going down, and after that, then it's all a bonus, I guess.
My first reloading bench was a card table. I don't suggest it. It wasn't the greatest setup, but it worked.
Are you sure that it worked? I'm skeptical.
Well, I took some wood out of an old pallet and screwed it together and braced it. So it wasn't just a card table; it was a card table braced with some scrap wood.
All right, that would make sense. That could work. But card table by itself, I don't know.
No, it had a lot of flex when you pull the lever down. That's why I had to brace it. The pallet was free.
So Johnny thinks that the T-Mag will probably get discontinued with the new line of presses coming out. I kind of want to see what their new turret press looks like and how much play is in the linkage and everything, and how well it works.
The initial picture looks like it's somewhat of a copy of the T7.
Yeah.
Except it has 8 heads and 7 instead of 7. It looks good, but pictures are deceiving sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's orange too, so I don't know about that.
As long as you load orange bullets in it, you should be good, right?
Yeah, maybe. So I was going to ask this question too. In the next, say, few months or even the next year, what are some video ideas that you guys want to see Loads of Bacon or I attempt and do? I have a list that's like, it's a page-long list of things I need to do videos on. And I have a bunch of folders of video footage that I just need to sit down and edit. But I was just curious what you guys want to see. Johnny says orange is better than blue, at least.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get one of those new Lyman presses, $100 cheaper than the T7. So people are going to bug the crap out of him about it anyway. Might as well get one. You know, I love my T7, but the replacement heads on these are $70 a piece.
How many
Now
replacements?
they'll last me forever, but
I see in the background you have like 4 or 5 extra replacement heads.
2, 3, 4. I've got 6 heads total, and so these heads, if it's handgun, I've got 2 calibers per, and if it's rifle, like this is my 30-06 setup here, and I filled all 7 with it. Don't need to, but that one I've got a writing body die. I've got a Lee neck sizing die. This is a Lee expander, so I can expand the case mouth if I'm loading cast bullets.
Yeah.
This is a goofy die that you don't really need it, but I use it as a powder to load powder in, and this ends up serving as a bit of a drop tube. This is a seating die I've got set for jacketed bullets, and I play with this one for cast bullets, and then a Lee crimping die. And it's nice because most of them I can set up, leave, and never have to mess with them again, you know.
Yeah, so let's see. We have Josue Guzman says he wants to see more 500 mag videos and 450 SOCOM. And Janito or Hanito, however you say the name, says he asked you for a little study video. Don't know what that means, but I think you probably know what it means. KRA says 458 SOCOM pistol AR loads. And yeah, I have done, so my 458 SOCOM AR is a SBR, so it's pretty much a pistol, but with a real stock. So I'll probably be doing more videos on that in the future. I really do enjoy 458 SOCOM. I just loaded up so much ammo, I don't have very much brass left over to actually load. So I need to shoot more so I can load more, I guess. It's kind of backwards.
I think the video that Hanito's referring to, the little study video, you know, I've got 14,000 videos shooting cast bullets into gel. And I've been playing with the alloy, so the hardness of the lead, velocity. And one of the things that apparently he's tested in the past, and I want to test, is twist rate. How much does that affect the expansion? And I think I'll be able to test that in 44 because I've got a handy rifle barrel in 44 that has a really slow twist rate. And so I should be able to shoot the same bullet, same velocity with a different twist rate and see if that changes the hollow point performance at all. Reading your comment, Johnny. Absolutely. There are some people that are very proud of their Dillons. That's for sure.
Yeah, it seems like everyone who owns a Dillon is very proud of their Dillons.
Might as well be. They had to save 3 years of their savings to get one. So I don't have any problem with the Dillon. I don't own one. I don't have any problem with it, but there's definitely some people that are convinced that if you don't load on a Dillon, you might as well quit reloading. And yeah, I just ignore them while I go to the range and shoot the bullets I loaded on something else.
Okay, somebody made a comment about the 338 Spectre. It's I watched what, and just as an FYI, I got this new bullet. It's a hollow point 200 grain bullet in 338, and I cast some more of the ones I've used in previous videos. And then I got this one too. It's a 250 grain pointy bullet, a Spire point, or Spitzer, Spire, whatever. It's pointy. And so I was going to do some supersonic loads with these 3 bullets, and also bolt gun subsonic loads. And I'm still waiting on the NOE group buy for the really heavy, I think it's a 315 grain hollow point 338 bullet, and to do some subs with that. So I do have plans on doing more 338 Spectre videos, and I love shooting the round, so I will be making more ammo. I just haven't had a whole lot of time to do it all, I guess. So William C says, yeah, they're like Blackhawks fans. Talking about the Dillon people.
You know, I kind of see that kind of like that whole Toyota versus Ford versus Chevy thing. If somebody has a lot of brand loyalty, good on them. For most of those things, though, it's just a tool. Yeah, I've got a truck, and it gets me from here to there and takes everything I want it to take. Great, but you know, my real loyalty is to my pocketbook, not to a brand.
And if it works, I don't mind buying inexpensive stuff as long as it works good. And I think a good example of that is like, for example, the Leaf Factory crimp die. I have a lot of Leaf Factory crimp dies, and they do work, and they're cheap and they work. Let's see.
Now, no doubt, if I had a Dillon, I could crank out a lot more ammo than I can on either of these presses, but I can crank out enough to keep me happy on these presses. I don't compete, though. You know, if I was a competition shooter shooting a competition 2 or 3 times a week, press.
So Josue Guzman was wondering if I've tried out the high tech yet, and I have not yet. So sorry I haven't had time to try that out yet, but I do plan on doing it sometime.
You have some on hand, right?
High tech? Yeah, I have some high tech, the zombie green, I think that he sent me.
Oh, okay, yeah. I want to see Bacon shoot a hog. Bacon making bacon. I want to see that too, brother.
What was that?
Ozark Spirit says he wants to see Bacon shoot a hog. Bacon making bacon. I want to see that too.
Bacon making bacon would be a great video. You should do it. All right. Well, I think we're getting around the time where we need to wrap up stuff.
It is about that time. Speaking of bacon, now I'm getting hungry.
Like your shirt.
I shop at the same place that Tim Robinson does.
Oh, nice. Nice. All right, so I have a question for everybody.
Before you do, I have to interrupt. Hanito says he makes his own bacon, and he'll give him recipe. Send me that, brother. I need that.
Okay, so my question now is the first person to respond and says that they wear an extra large shirt will get a Smith & Wesson extra large shirt. So go. Looks like Thorzak's. Was he the first one?
I think your chat's a hair faster than mine. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's the first one I'm seeing.
Okay. All right, so Thorzak's got this shirt for you. Extra large, 2XL. Then you can match Bacon. You guys can wear the same shirt and match Bacon. So go ahead and send me your shipping information in an email or something, and I'll get that shirt sent out to you. Did you want to say anything else before we end, Bacon?
Just that the good chance we'll put out the actual stuff once we finally make a decision. But good chance we'll have a chat again in what, 2 weeks? February 10th, probably.
Okay, February 10th.
I don't know how Saturday afternoon works for folks, but it's about the only time I can make work. So probably similar time. And as we get closer, we'll actually announce that.
Okay, so if nothing else, I'm gonna say see ya.
Thanks, man.